Hello, how are you today, Sid?
Okay, tired, but otherwise okay. And yourself?
I was, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, just worried about the news.
Which news?
Oh, Iran.
Okay, I might be out of sync. Which news are we talking about with Iran?
Oh, the constant threats of attacking it and wiping it out and attacking, you know, um, the whole population.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I guess yeah, I've heard some of that. So
sorry.
I don't watch the news. So when people say,
I
"Have
try
you
to
heard?" I'm
avoid
like,
it, but
probably
it
not.
it finds me. It finds me somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I'm so tired and dizzy. That's weird.
You know what? I have felt the same
Yes.
way for like 2 days now. It
Really?
Yeah, it was like, especially yesterday, it was like I had taken a whole bunch of cold medication when I hadn't.
Oh,
It was really weird. And then I went to bed last night and I woke up almost like 12 hours later today.
I wish I had. I had to get up early this morning. I think I needed the 12 hours.
Well, but I still feel a little weird today. So it's kind of like, yeah, I still feel a little like not quite dizzy per se, but like I still feel kind of foggy today, even
Yeah.
with all that extra sleep. I don't feel as bad as yesterday, but I still feel a little out of it. So I'm
Hey,
just like,
Son.
okay.
Hey, Sonia. Hey, Sib.
Hi,
Hey,
Vincent. How are
Vincent.
you?
Doing good. How about you? I was hearing that
Okay.
Sonia maybe was sick. Possibly. I'm just getting
Uh,
context clues.
well, last week I had a bit of a flu-ish sort of situation, kind of like I just didn't feel quite well. But this week, for like the last couple days, I like, especially yesterday, I kind of felt like I had taken cold medicine when I really hadn't. You know, that kind of hazy sort of feel you get when you take like Dayquil or something.
Hmm.
But I hadn't taken anything like that. And so then I slept like almost 12 hours and I feel much better today, but I still have that sort of a little bit of that hazy feeling going on in my head.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but Sib was saying she sort of felt the same way. And I was like, yeah, I totally get it. I've been that way last couple of days.
I was saying I'm so tired, I feel dizzy. It's weird.
It's not like the weather, or have you two noticed it like regularly? Like,
No, it's just been the last couple of days. But the weather
mm,
here has been a little off and on, sort of raining and then not, and raining and then not. But I haven't been out in it, so it's not like yeah, no.
okay.
I've
Yeah, I
been
could.
safe in my house with my my air filtration system and air conditioning. So
Nice. Yeah, I was like, whenever I'm worried something's in the air, I'm like, okay, time to turn on my air purifier, set it to the max,
Yes.
set it for a few hours. Be like, I need, like, I have the whole process now for when I'm sick. What do I need to do to like make sure the house is just ready for anyone else living in it?
yeah.
Uh, a recent thing that's happened is that my whole set of like cousins, they were started playing Pokopia. I don't know if you've heard of that game at all.
Oh,
It's like
what's that?
it's like
Pocopia?
Pokemon mixed with Animal Crossing, which again, it's just
Okay.
like you're building little villages for your Pokemon. It's the latest
Okay.
succession for Switch 2. But that's just
Okay.
gaming
Oh
news,
well,
and I've
here
been
I'm thinking
predicted very poorly.
you said that, but mixing the Pokemon, I'm thinking Dr. Moreau's Island, like Pokemon, like mixing the Pokemon, like interbreeding them or something. I'm like, what's
Oh,
going on?
nothing like that. Yeah. You're just building little habitats for them. So you're just like post-apocalyptic world, no humans, so now you're just You're just
Okay.
building homes. It's a very cozy game, but
Well,
unfortunately, it requires you to buy a whole new console. So I was like, oh my gosh,
oh,
Oh,
ouch.
that
Yeah.
is quite the purchase if you ever do want to get it.
Well, here's a story for you. So I was really into Fable, which was um, it was this one of those video games where the game changes based off the choices you make. And so I went through the game first, did everything good, made all the right choices, like I was a good person. And then I went through and I made with the same character, I went back to the beginning of the game, back to the hometown, and I made all the evil choices I could make. And by the time I was done playing the game, I owned every property that could be bought, did all the good stuff, did all the bad stuff. And then Fable 2 came out and and so I went on and on. But then there came a point where they were beta testing a new version of it, but you had to get the latest version of Xbox. So what did I do? I went out and I bought the latest version of Xbox. And then they never brought the game out. That
What?
ah,
Oh, that's
the
rough.
Yeah, the people
oh,
who were making it got bought by Microsoft, who were and the game only ever came out on the Microsoft console, but then they just decided they weren't going to do it. And so I had bought the new console, and I'm like, but I don't play much. I mean, I play a couple of the games, but I never played them religiously like I did Fable. And I'm like, but I mastered all of it. And I was loving the beta. I'm like, but I want my game. What do you mean? I was very upset.
Yeah, that sounds rough, especially if it's just like
It
you're
was,
expecting an expansion, you bought a whole console ready for it. That's like the
I was very upset by that. Anyway,
just
yes,
wanted to welcome Tenny and Sanuj. Sanuj, good to see you.
yes.
I hope your vacation was good. Uh, Tenny, glad to have you. Is this your first time here?
At this meeting, I'm already a member at a different Toastmasters meeting, but I have some time on Tuesday, so I just want to try this out. But I probably can't stay the whole time because my daughter's on spring break. But thank you
Oh,
for having
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah,
Well,
thank you for
thanks for
coming.
joining.
We'd love to get your feedback too, just because you are from another club, just to hear
Mhm.
your perspectives as well on how we can grow or improve our process.
Yeah, sure.
And hey Betty, I believe Betty's also back from a trip as well. So let me go
hi
ahead and
everybody.
confirm roles before we go ahead and get started. So I have the speaker as Sonia. Are you okay with that, Sonia? And would you
Yep.
prefer to be an impromptu speaker, or do you have a prepared speech for today?
I have a prepared less speech.
Okay, that's perfect. Just a speech you would like to test out, which is great.
Yeah, it's kind of a testing it out. As you all know, I'm not very good with humorous speeches, so I've taken on that pathway. And so I'm kind of just testing this out to see how it goes. And Tenny, as you may know, our club is very focused on impromptu speaking. And a lot of times when we do prepared speeches, even though they are related to a pathway speech, a lot of times we do what we call a prepared less speech, meaning that we look at the requirements and all of that, but we don't really do hardcore preparation. And so we call those prepared less speeches.
Thank you, Sonia. So I'll have you confirm to speaker one. There's a second speaking slot in case anyone is if anyone is interested on taking this one on. This will be for the impromptu speech.
Sweetheart.
Sib, Sanuj,
Okay, I'll go
or
for it.
all right, Sib, did you? And then I'll go create a prompt for you shortly.
Yes, please.
We have Benson doing table topics, and we're just missing the general evaluator. Well, we're missing general evaluators, timer. So I was wondering if Mary, would you be able to be the evaluator? If that would be okay?
Sure. I
So
love the challenge Sonia's taking on. I am getting my courage up to try a similar journey.
thank you so much, Mary. And next, I'd like to double check if Sanuj, would you be able to be the timer?
Yeah, happy to.
Thank you. And Betty, would you be able to be the Amarian?
Yes.
Betty, are you? Okay, perfect. And Sib, I can act as your evaluator. So that way we'll have all roles filled. And because we do have two speakers, I don't think will have as much time for round robin. So we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone to today's Toastmasters session. My name is Vincent. I'll be your Toastmaster of the day and the host. A few reminders before we get started. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones or put on vibrate. That way it doesn't interrupt you or other speakers while you're speaking. And thank you for accommodating to that rule. So the theme for today's meeting is National Walk in the Park Day. This was a theme that was mostly a week ago, but it helped me remind me about the importance of going out to get any physical activity. There were days when I would just do chores and I realized I started to feel out of breath and I was like, I'm just doing casual things, just moving things around or just like washing the clothes and just doing it back and forth. And all of a sudden I realized how unfit I was. And it was because I might have focused on, let's say I would go to the gym, but it was not, I couldn't compensate for all the lack of steps that I took in a day. I would only get like 1,000 steps a day, and I realized I wasn't doing the day-to-day activities that also build strength. So National Walk in the Park Day is just to give us that reminder of the importance of those small exercises, or just going out to the park, just taking a moment and either reflecting or getting exercise. The word of the day is amble. Amble's definition is to walk slowly, aimlessly, or comfortably. For example, we ambled along the beach at sunset. During our meeting, we encourage everyone to use the word of the day, and whenever someone does, we like to show this hand sign, silent clapping, as a show of appreciation for using the word. Now, our meeting structure is generally in three parts. We have the impromptu speeches or speeches and impromptu speeches, table topics, and evaluations. To kick us off, we have our first speaker, Sonia, with a prepared less speech. Sonia, would you like to give an introduction for your speech and what you'd like your evaluator to look out for?
Well, today's speech it's a level 2 learning your sense of humor. Basically, it's going to be like any other speech that you would do at a level 2. And I'm just looking to see if I can be humorous. My sense of humor is kind of dry, so we'll see how that goes. I'm still trying to get the hang of writing humorous speeches. The title of my speech is Five Cats. You either like it or maybe you don't. We'll see.
Got it. And Sonia, for this one, is the timing 5 to 7 minutes?
5 to 7 is a standard speech.
Got it. Thank you. So please help me welcome Sonia. Five cats, Sonia.
Thank you, everyone. Tonight, or today, I'm sorry, it's not night yet. I'd like to talk about what it's like living with 5 cats, which is a little like being a roommate in a roommate situation where no one pays rent, everyone judges you, and at least one person throws up in the hallway daily, maybe even on your bed in the middle of the night. I live with 5 cats, or to be more accurate, I pay the mortgage and they run the local government. At this point, I really don't consider myself their owner. I'm more like support staff. My duties include food service, door operation, conflict mediation, and apologizing when dinner is 3 minutes late. People who have never lived with cats tend to imagine them as graceful, mysterious, independent creatures. And that is true most of the time. But if you've met only one, they can be very cuddly and cute and kind and soft. But when you have a whole herd running through the house, it's chaos. Once you get to 5, it stops feeling elegant. It starts feeling like you're running a tiny, furry criminal syndicate out of your living room. Living with 5 cats teaches you a lot of patience, humility, and how to sleep exactly in 6 inches of bed space without upsetting upper management. I started out with one cat many years ago. Her name was Abby, and I truly felt like she was my soulmate. She was Princess Abby Dabby Doo, and she actually answered to that to name when I called her. I got my second cat, Tux, who happens to be on the desk here with me today, when a friend died, and I took her in. Abby, a few years later, left us. She went over the Rainbow Bridge, and Tux, my dear, did not go over that really well. She did not respond really well to that. So we decided to get a kitten. I actually went to the vet, and the vet said that Tux was everything with her physically was okay, but psychologically she needed a friend. So we went out to go get a kitten. We came back with 2. About a year ago, I moved in with my best friend. Well, she had 2 cats. So now we had 5 in the house. Now, negotiating space with 5 cats can be very difficult. 2 of the cats are Maine Coons. So the older one, he thinks he's boss. My boy cat thinks he's boss. So we have 2 alpha males in the house. They fight sometimes. They shove each other out of the way to get the food first. 3 out of the 5 are overweight and totally don't need to be eating, but constantly. But every time they hear a can open, they're first in line to get to the food. If it around 5 o'clock, if I have not made my way to the kitchen to start feeding food, getting their food, it's like an alarm goes off. Every cat in the house is meowing. Where's dinner? Where's dinner? How come you haven't fed me yet? I happen to be on a call. Will you please leave me alone for a few minutes? Oh, no, no, no. 5 o'clock, it's time for dinner. It's like a bell rings. If I happen to wake up late, I have cats bouncing on the bed, crawling all over my face, pulling my hair. Hey, get up and feed me. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. It's crazy. One of the cats, the older Maine Coon cat, when he's upset, he likes to poop and pee in my shower. I've begun to believe it's more a term of endearment. I choose to believe he's telling me that he loves me, because otherwise I just have to believe it's a love message rather than something more ungrateful or mean, because I just, there's too many cats. I just can't deal with it. Our other Maine Coon cat, he's almost 30 pounds. He is a big, giant ball of fluff. And I call him my big, fluffy, furry friend. His name is Tommy. We call him the mighty, mighty Tom Tom. And he is just huge, just huge. One of my, we call them the twins, the 2 that I adopted so that my Tux kitty could calm down. She had a little issue with her thyroid when we first got her, which stunted her growth. So she's an itty bitty cat. Tommy will basically, he's so big, he just bowls over him, just runs over her. And so she now, when she sees him coming at full speed, she just runs in the other direction, which then she strips the humans in the house because she's so scared of Tommy. It just becomes chaos. I don't know how many times she's tripped me and I've almost fell and hurt myself. So we have basically a sort of kind of controlled chaos going on constantly in the house. Most people say a house becomes a home when you fill it with love. There was a time when I thought one cat would be nice, and that's when I got my Abby. But then somehow we ended up with all 5 cats in the same house. And I knew no longer I was a pet owner. I became middle management in a very unstable organization. But apparently, if you have 5 cats, it becomes a hostage situation with fur. I don't own pets. I supervise chaos. Every day is a delicate balance of feeding, refereeing, and trying to figure out which one is staring at me like they know what I did. And it was something completely horrible in their opinion. Someday it's all going to work out and everyone will be happy with everyone else. But for now, I just hope they stay in their own corners and I don't get scratched up too much. But that's life with 5 cats. And hopefully you found this story amusing. And this is Tux. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sonia, for sharing your story about 5 cats. Now, I'd like to take a moment, 45 seconds, Sanuj, if you can time this, and then you can turn on the green once 45 seconds is up. For us to write some private feedback to Sonia. So you can send this through the 3 dots, and then you could put a chat option afterwards on her portrait. And yes, thank you, Benson, for the word of the day reminder. Word of the day is amble, if you can use that throughout your speeches or table topics. And for Sib, I will post a few questions that you can choose about different types of walks in the park. And then you can choose which one resonates the most with you. You can use a mixture of all, a few, none, whichever helps jog your ideas. Thank you, Sanuj. All right, Sib. Sib will be our second speaker, and Sib will be demonstrating the impromptu speech. Sib, was there a question that struck you or something that you wanted to share? And let us know what your time frame would be as well.
I would say between 4 and 6 minutes.
Okay.
And I am going to take the first question. When was the last time something felt like a walk in the park to you, and what made it feel that way?
Got it. Over to you, Sib.
Dear fellow Toastmasters, we talk about a walk in the park as a phrase to refer to something easy. But recently, my spouse has decided that in an effort to lose weight, they were going to go hiking very regularly. And because I feel guilty not accompanying them, at least sometimes, I went twice this time so far. And I discovered that a walk in the park, our park, isn't actually something necessarily easy, because we end up on trails that, contrary to my native Normandy, are anything but flat. So it feels more like having to climb stairs half the time, and that definitely does not feel easy. I do enjoy the effort, But I was surprised at how much effort it is to hike. I thought biking was much harder than walking, and I've discovered that that's absolutely not necessarily the case. And then last weekend, after we went up most of the way towards the waterfall, the way back was mostly a walk in the park because we were going downhill. And I decided I was going to try and treat myself to the type of experience that I loved as a kid, taking a walk in nature, which was in foresty areas. And I especially love streams. So I decided to take one of the smaller trails that were going to take us towards the creek. And the challenge there was not the physical effort of going up. It was flat, but it was the need to constantly look at our feet in order to avoid twisting our ankles on the numerous big stones that were lining up the stream. But I stopped often to take pictures of the beautiful landscape, and I enjoyed it very much. And I would like to hope we both did, until a sound came from behind me going, and I heard my spouse shout, "Oh, Jesus!" At which point I realized that what we had just heard was indeed the rattle from a rattlesnake. I quickly tried to remember what you are supposed to do when faced with a rattle, and fell miserably, and found myself taking 2 quick steps away from the sound, only then daring to turn away, to turn back towards the sound, where I saw indeed a beautiful rattlesnake with its rattle tail very visible and still slightly vibrating, and my spouse right next to the snake, petrified. We waited for the snake to slither away, and only then did my spouse decide to move forward, and was unfortunately very quiet for the rest of the walk, no doubt traumatized. As soon as we got back to civilization, meaning to access to looking up information on the internet, I looked up what you're supposed to do when you're faced with a rattlesnake, and the instructions stated, first freeze. We were good on that one. We both froze in horror. That didn't take much planning. The second instruction was back away slowly, which is when I realized definitely not what I did. So the last time I did something which was actually a walk in the park was last weekend, and it definitely did not feel like one. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Sid, for sharing your story adventure about how walk in the park turned out not to be quite the walk in the park. Thank you, Sid. Now, like a 45 seconds, Anush, if you can time it for us to send private feedback to Sib for their speech. Oh, and thank you, Tenny, for being able to come, and hope you can join us again once you're available. So
Thank
see you
you.
again,
See you
Tenny.
in the future.
Bye.
Bye.
Vincent, you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to give some time for us to write some feedback to Sib. But afterwards, we'll be starting with the table topics shortly. All right, thank you, Sanuj. The next we'll be going on to the second section of the meeting, table topics. Our table topics master today is Benson. Please help me welcome Benson to the stage.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Vincent. I'm happy to host the Table Topic Mass today. So today's theme is National Work in a Park Day. And the word of the day today is amble. Amble. I encourage everybody use that word during your speech. So today I have prepared several questions to discuss the ambling related to your life. Thank you. The So I'll do the question one by one. So I'm looking for the first volunteer to do the table topics. If there's nobody, I'll pick up from my screen from left to right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll pick Sanuj. Here's the question. I'll copy paste that in the chat as well. I didn't click yet. Basically, the question is how ambling can reduce stress and improve mental clarity in a fast-paced world. Sanuj.
Thank you so much for the question, Mr. Table Topics Master. I'll give you a scenario. You are working, you have a deadline to get something done by the end of the day. And then while you're working on achieving this task, you get 5 different messages from 5 different people who need 5 different things. And then in that time, you have meetings scheduled for whatever your regular meetings are. You got to follow up. And then you have your manager reaching out to you, asking you, hey, what's the status? And then after someone reaches out to you, they are not getting the answer that they need. So then they add a new meeting onto your calendar because it gets the conversation done just a little bit faster. If the scenario that I described to you is relatable, then I think we could all use some ambling in order to recover from this kind of stress. It's something that I've dealt with and I deal with constantly. Um, and it's not always fun. So taking the time to step away, even during the workday, of course, there's times where I require myself to just get away after work on the weekends to be able to get mental clarity. But even during the workday, just trying to think through a problem by taking a walk, doing something that's healthy for me, allows me to reset, allows me to tackle a problem with new vigor and be able to get back to delivering value in a healthy manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanuj. I love the scenario you described. I cannot stop thinking about why I use the five. The 5 cats just jump into my mind. Yeah, that's related to the previous speech. Very interesting. Yeah, I think ambling is very important during the stressful days. Okay, I have the second question. I'll pick. Okay, Mary, are you able to do the table topic?
Yes, Benson.
Okay. So the second question is compare how people behave when they rush versus when they amble. Compare how people behave when they rush versus when they amble. Mary.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Table Topics Master. Compare and contrast the difference between rushing through life and ambling along. What an interesting concept, one that is actually pretty close to my heart because I have been very focused on trying to cram more living into life by rushing things a bit. But I have discovered that instead of getting more in, I'm living a life of hurry up and wait, hurry up and be stopped. And so I sat down in a chair and I pulled out a book of poetry written by a California poet by the name of Gary Snyder, who writes a lot of nature poetry. And in it, one of the ideas he presented was that when we go walking in nature, to appreciate that we are walking over the walking of many generations of people, that we are walking perhaps on hallowed ground, perhaps on ground where scientists have had breakthrough ideas, perhaps where a couple has fallen intimately in love. That while we are walking, we are surrounded by all these sounds of nature, the smells that embrace us, the sounds that fill our hearts and distract our minds, and then letting go and saying, let me embrace this opportunity to enjoy the gift of life that we've been given. And it has slowly led me to taking a few more unplanned, uncharted ambles in nature without specific goals. But each time I come back with some kind of reward for which I'm really grateful, an insight or something else. Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mary, for a great speech. Yeah. It's a gift to enjoy some small details like sounds, smells, and scenarios. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Okay, let's have the third question. Pick Betty. Are you able to do that?
Okay.
Okay, good. The question is actually, it's not a question. Just talk about a time you ambled somewhere and what you observed or felt during that slow, relaxed work. Just to describe about a time you ambled, Betty.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, I posted the question in the chat. The question is talk about a time you ambled somewhere and what you observed or felt during that slow, relaxed work.
Thank you, table topping masters. I just came back from cruise and I just noticed the Southampton cruise. From there is the Titanic begin to sail from. And after that, I went to London. I like London. I fall in love with them because the environment, the hub and on and off shuttle, and it's very pretty, the city. I can amble just walking in the city and relax. But I don't do too much there that day because I don't have too much time. So in the future, I would like to stay there longer and just relax and walking on the street and take more picture because I like the city street picture. It's always pretty and relaxed to look at. So I enjoy traveling. I hope everybody enjoy too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Patty. Oh, the cruise. Okay, I missed that. I love the cruise. Okay, anyway, trying to play in another one. Okay, we still have time for another question. See who's volunteer. Anybody? Okay. Okay, let's see. Uh, big Vincent.
Yeah, I can give it a shot. I
Okay.
was like, everyone else has a role, so I think we're good.
Okay. So Vincent, your question is here. I copy paste it. Discuss how exploring a place by ambling instead of strict plans leads to more authentic experiences. Okay, Vincent.
Do you remember those times when you're traveling with family? You feel like each person is taking on a particular assignment. I feel like for me, I'm the person who is the planner. And while I have a few others who just like to enjoy their time, in this case, my brother and sister in one of my recent trips to Japan, where they like to enjoy themselves. They like to just go wherever my itinerary takes them. I'm like, okay, this is fun just to plan things out, just to make sure everything is structured, and I try to jam pack maybe 5 or 10 different activities in one day, just to make the most of our experience. I remember we were in this city in Japan, Kyoto, and I remembered that this was probably 5 days into the trip. It's gotten to the point where we walked probably 15,000 steps every single day. Today was no exception. And the places that we wanted to go to were both on opposite sides of Kyoto. One was the bamboo gardens, and another one was a temple filled with those red shrines that you might have seen in some of the stock photos in the backgrounds. You're like, oh, I want to visit there. And I also want to visit the stock photo of the bamboo garden place. So we were conflicted because we arrived probably midday and I felt like, oh, there's no way we can get to the shrine place by the time the sun sets. And we were ambling about because we were tired. We have already traveled to the bamboo garden place, and then we were hiking up the trail. Fortunately, there were no rattlesnakes, but there were monkeys we had to watch out for to take our food, and we were just constantly on alert. We're tired. And I remember that during that moment, instead of going to the final spot, we just ambled about the streets. And I felt that being tired and maybe we were just hungry, I don't know. Even the smallest food stalls, they felt delicious. They felt the best, like without any plan at all. We were just exploring and taking our moment, aligning it with our current energy, our current state. We're just thinking, what do we feel like doing right now, rather than following an itinerary. And to me, that felt like probably the most relaxing thing I could have done. So now when I plan trips, I just plan for a day or a few hours where we can amble about. No plans, nothing. Just go with how we're feeling during that moment. Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you. Thank you, Vincent. Give us how to plan the trip. Yeah, I'm pretty similar to you. In one stage, I start not planning to go anywhere. I just go there. But eventually, I think we still need to pick couple final spots as a reference, but we're not necessary to go there. Entering to that spot is always enjoyable. That's from I say. I just, go around the place. It not necessarily get to that point, but it still have that going there. Thank you. Thank you, Vincent, for the topic. Okay, I think we conclude our table topic today, and I'll give back to table topic, Toastmaster Vincent.
Thank you, Benson, for being our Topics Master and being able to make sure everyone who didn't get a longer speaking role have a chance to speak as well. Well, thank you so much, Benson. Next, we're going to go to the general evaluation section, and I have to admit, I forgot to assign the general evaluator, so I wanted to give the opportunity in case anyone is available to take this on. We currently have the first evaluator is Mary, second evaluator is myself. We have our Amir Betty, and our timer is Sanuj. Is there anyone available to take on the general evaluator role? Sib, thank you so much. All right, Sib, I'll hand it off to you to hand it off to, to Mary.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vincent. So we are now moving to evaluation section of the meeting. Mary, would you like to share your evaluation of Sonia's speech?
Thank you, General Evaluator Sib, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Sonia. Thank you for taking us into the world of cats. I am a dog person, as you all know. I live with family members who have cats, and I don't quite necessarily connect with the cats in their lives, but now I have some insights into why. I particularly enjoyed your use of language in this speech. You used a variety of language devices that easily connected with humor. You used contemporary references, such as Seymour the plant, or the criminal syndicate. We could identify with those verbal descriptions. Then what you did is you chose really robust, descriptive words. It was as if you were helping us to be there right with you. And in the use of triplets describing words, you created fun and cadence and insights into life with cats. That use of language really enforced the story that you told us. You then went on to use pauses, perhaps to regroup your thoughts, perhaps intentionally. I will lean toward the latter because it gave me time to think about what you had just described to me. This way that you had moved from the CEO of the house into middle management, the challenges of feeding and refereeing and figuring out who is staring at you and why they're being judgmental of you. All of these things were terrific devices to give me insights into the life with cats. I now have a much greater appreciation for people who live with cats and say that the cats are the rulers of the kingdom. You let us laugh with you. You let us, if you will, appreciate that living with cats is kind of like ambling in the park because you just need to go with it or you're going to lose your mind. I appreciated it, the idea of laughing and going with it instead of crying and succumbing to the chaos of your world. It was a delightful speech and a welcome change as you introduce more humor into your speaking. Congratulations, Sonia. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Mary, for such a thoughtful and well-put evaluation. You clearly put a lot of thought in it. Now we move on to our second evaluator for the second speech. Vincent, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sib. A amble in the park or a walk in the park that wasn't quite a walk in the park. I really like how that was really structured and how you're able to play on both meanings of walks in the park. So today I'll be sharing with you three things that I thought worked well, two observations that I noticed that perhaps it could that once corrected or adjusted could take the speech to the next level, and one big takeaway for me. So one of the first things I liked about your impromptu speech, and considering it's an impromptu speech, was how story driven it was. It wasn't about listing these facts that we needed to know. It was just you going on your hike because your spouse just happened to start their goal. And you didn't want to feel guilty, so you started to go with them. I liked how it was story driven from beginning to the end of the speech. The second thing was I liked your expressions. There's a moment where you did an eyebrow furrow. You're like, these are like flat. These are uphill all the time. So I like that frustration that you added to your face. Continue exploring these because these add a lot of, they make your speech richer from my perspective. The third thing is that I really liked your enunciation. Your enunciation and pace has always been very clear to me, and you never rush through the story. You take this moment, especially for something like describing the scenery or describing your story. You didn't rush it. You allowed us to figure out where you were at, and I can imagine you slowly hiking to the point where you saw that rattlesnake. So that I can imagine the journey with you. So what could take the speech to the next level? I know one thing you've heard before, just eye contact. Eye contact more in the case where it's like there are times when you look to the side or look up, and that that could be corrected, but that's just a small thing. I think once you're used to looking at the camera, like I'm not looking at the camera consistently either, so it's it's something that feels unnatural at times just to stare into the camera. But it's something that I would encourage to practice more as a challenge to see if that's something you try out. The second thing I noticed was this time I did notice a few motions where you moved in your chair. So it like I think you were thinking or you were turning in your chair. But I don't think it added as much to the speech during that moment. If it was like there was a roller coaster or a whirlwind or something, then you could add it. But I felt like it was just a moment when you were thinking. So that's something to watch out for. But overall, one of the best things, one of the things that I've noticed that I thought was like, the strength of your speech, you made sounds, which I really liked. Like you made a rattlesnake sound, which was shh. And then after that, your partner was like, "Oh Jesus!" And then you like mentioned an exclamation. So I loved the sound effects that you added throughout your speech. It was not something as common that I see, but now that I see it, I'm like, Sib, you need to do this more. This was great. So I loved adding sound effects, adding these conversations in, just because it makes the story feel even more alive. So I'm looking forward to your next speech, Sib. I know you're able to take the speech to the next level because I've seen it with how you're able to add sound effects, with the way your storytelling pace is, and your descriptions. So I'm really looking forward to your next impromptu speech. Back to you, Sib.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Of course, very much appreciate your feedback as always. And I am moving in my chair, that is true. Um, now we move on to our timers report. Sanuj, would you want to perhaps paste the times in the chat and comment on them if you need to?
Yeah, definitely. Just posted the timings here. Looks like all of us had a lot to share today, so people did go over, but I mean, it was great. And there was great conversation happening, so thank you all.
Thank you very much, Sanuj. And now over to our Armenian of the day.
Hi, thank you for general evaluator. Today I don't hear anybody have an R. If yes, maybe I didn't pay attention. Some I heard one vocabulary elegant and very contemporary. This is very special word to use when you speak and in the public. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Betty. I am now going to transfer to Vincent, our Toastmaster of the day, to wrap up the meeting.
Thank you, Sib. And if you'd like, you can do a quick moment where you can share any observations that you had over of the meeting as a whole. You could also be like, Vincent, you assigned things super late. That could be the critique as well. So yeah, you can do a quick evaluation. What did you enjoy about the roles that you've noticed? Any enhancements? Very briefly, Sib.
Particular, everything was. I really like the fact that Benson posted the pictures. Posted the questions for the table topics in the chat. I think that helps people answering those questions.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, Sib. I think that's something that we can definitely try out in the future for future table topics, just to figure out what are things we should keep in the meeting, and if there's anything that we can do to make the meeting even better. Thank you, Sib, for being our impromptu GE. Really appreciate you being able to step in to that role. Next, we'll be going through the roles for next week. So I wanted to confirm as the Toastmaster of the day, checking in, Sib, are you okay with doing Toastmaster of the day next week?
Oh, I forgot that I was signing up for that when I volunteered to
That's why
become
everyone was
GE, but that's
hesitant
all
to take
right.
G. Everyone was
Sure.
hesitant to take G because like
Keep in
I'm gonna be
mind.
Toastmaster after. Thank you,
That's
Sam,
a
for taking
gift.
on
A gift.
Toastmaster as well secretly.
That's all right. Sure, I can be Toastmaster.
All right. The next thing is that we are looking for a speaker, a few dedicated speakers. So again, we're going to be having open house in 2 weeks. So not next week, but 2 weeks. So is there anyone who is interested in being a speaker or an impromptu speaker? And in case you need any prompts for your pathway speech, let me know. I can help out with those.
I thought I already volunteered to be the impromptu speaker.
What was that?
I thought I already volunteered to be an impromptu speaker
Oh yeah, you did.
on
So, oh, for next week?
no, for 2 weeks from now,
Yeah, 2 weeks from
for the
now,
21st. Oh,
you'll be
now
the
you're talking
impromptu
about
speaker.
next week. Okay.
Yeah, just next week. Yep.
Yeah, I do a prepare speech next week.
Okay. Thank you, Benson. And
Thanks.
then
Using
Vince,
as a
I'll
backup.
connect with you offline. I have some ideas of some possible speakers for you who are polishing for division contests.
oh yeah, if they're interested in being like a open house speaker, that would be great.
So I have two in particular, and the timing might work.
Okay.
That it, so we can talk about that later.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks, Mary. I'll follow up with you. The next thing that we'll be looking at, or next role we'll be looking at, is Table Topics Master, in case anyone is interested. And then we'll find to prepare the speaker for next week offline, but just looking for a Table Topics Master. In this case, Betty, would you be able to be Topics Master for next week?
You mean
Betty, are you?
Toastmaster?
Oh, Table Topics.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Thank you. All right. I think with that, I'll put a poll on the chat just to find out offline roles. All right, Benson, I head it off to you. I think without Benson here, I have not been like asking for pictures at all. So
It's
Benson,
okay.
please go for
One
it.
second. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Cheese. I got it.
Thank you so much, Benson, and thanks for keeping us on track with that. I believe with that, I wanted to pass off to the presiding officer, so I'll pass it off to Sonia in case there are any announcements that we'd like to make.
I don't know of any in particular that we need to make, other than I do know that we need to work on making sure that we have recorded all of our um, pathway speeches in Pathways so that we get credit. Anyone who is close to finishing a pathway, I'd like to make sure that we give them precedent so that they can finish those pathways. Beyond that, I don't think there's anything else, any other announcements that we haven't given in in WhatsApp recently? Unless you know of anything, Vincent, that I don't know.
No, I think just
Oh,
the
well,
open
no,
house,
there,
but we've been talking about the open
yeah,
house regularly.
right. We are going to do an open house at the end of April. What was the date on that again?
April
20,
21st.
21st, right.
So, oh yes, if you can, I think I might have posted a link in the meetup, but if you can sign up in the meetup, that's the best way just to show that there will be more attendance during
Right.
that meeting. So if you can, just say that you're attending during that meeting. And if you want, you could do it for the rest of the month too. I wish there's a way to automate it for every meeting we had, but they only limit to 5. So if you, when you do get the chance, I'll be posting the meetup link in the group, and then you just have to do it for the open house, really.
And I think there's a way that you can just put in there that you're, continuously that you're going to be going to the meetings as well. That way that you don't have to go back and do it very often, if at all, because it always shows that I'm in there because I just said I'm going to all of them. So I'm not sure how I did it though.
Yeah, if you find out, do let us know the trick.
If I could find out, I'll let you guys know. Um, I'm also
Yeah,
going to
that's all I have.
I put the link on in a LinkedIn as well for that. I forgot to do that. And there's one thing that we haven't announced, I don't think. Daniel is leaving us for a short period of time. So as I'm stepping in for the time period, the short time period till June, or through June, I should say, as our club president. Uh, Not that it's a big deal. I mean, there's just, if all I'm going to do is remind you guys to do stuff before the end of our club year. And we will be holding our uh, elections in June for the next year for new officers coming in July. But beyond that, I will be, talking to you guys probably one-on-one to see who wants to be officers next year. But there's not much obviously to do as president beyond that. Um, and it's just filling in. Um, but and it was just because I happened to be there in the meeting when it came up. Um, but we are all very sad to see him go. But he should be coming back pretty soon. He just needed some time to deal with some personal stuff and career stuff. But we all wish him the best, and yeah. And sorry to see him leave. If there's any questions or that anyone has or wants to talk about it, feel free to reach out to me or to Vincent. You're on mute, Vincent.
Oh, so sounds good. All right, thanks everyone. And in case you put on your cell phone on vibrate, just put it back on and see you all next week. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.